Hello, I'm back at home and I'm going through the questions that you guys submitted to me on my last video of things you guys want to know about. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and go through all of those. You guys have quite a bit for me, so I'll try and knock them out right now. Okay, so I kind of like broke it into sections. So the first section, I just have like general PCT questions that I got. My start and end date. So I started March 6th and I ended, it was like September 20th or something like that. But then I drove back down the West Coast and went ahead and tackled Sandjack. So all in all, like I ended like the third week of September. And total days on trail was 203. 203. Final mileage. So the trail itself in total is 2,650-ish miles. I missed about 150 miles of trail because of fire closures. I did hike every available mile to me this year. The mileage breakdown is actually on my Instagram if you guys want to go check it out. I listed the fires closures that I missed, and it ended up being about 150 miles. So all in all, I got about 2,500 miles in this year of the PCT, and I do plan to go back and tackle my gaps in the future, but yeah, that's a little gift that the PCT left me for another time. With that being said, with the fires, another question I got is, would I recommend going southbound or northbound? Honestly, I don't have the right answer probably for this, but I wouldn't change going northbound. I wanted the traditional experience of going, starting with the desert and ending with Washington. But yeah, and I really think the Sobos hit the fire closures too. I don't think being southbound was like an advantage fire-wise. If anything, I think the most advantageous thing I saw was the flip-floppers actually. Whenever the fires popped up, most of us were like coming into Oregon, and a lot of people just skipped Oregon, went and did Washington, hit the terminus, came back and hiked Oregon at the end. And at first I was like, oh, I can't believe they skipped a whole state. Like, it's out of order. Aren't they going to be sad about not having the, I don't know, I'm very chronological, so I wanted like the states in order. But turns out those people got almost every mile in, if not all the miles in, because of the flip-flop they did. So honestly, I would just play it by ear when you do it. Northbound versus southbound, I would say northbound if you want the traditional experience and have like people alongside you every day. Southbound would be if you're looking for more of a remote experience, because from the Sobos I talked to, it's definitely you're definitely more alone. So yeah, just fire wise, I don't think that would change anything, Nobo versus Sobo, but just the way you want to experience PCT, that does matter. Favorite section in state, least favorite section in state. My favorite section was hands down Goat Rocks, Knife's Edge specifically in Washington. I heard a lot of PCTers say that. Favorite state though overall was California, because you have desert, mountain, you have the high Sierras, you have you just have everything. Like, California has it all, you guys. I literally was just astounded with how much I loved California. So hands down favorite section, Goat Rocks. Hands down favorite state, California. Least favorite state, Oregon. Oregon was way flatter than I thought. I couldn't even believe it. Just kind of buggy and hot, and just, there were pretty parts of Oregon, but honestly, I felt like I was hiking through a lot of bad to get to like these just like few big highlights. So yeah, least favorite section and state was honestly like a lot of stuff in Oregon. So sorry, Oregon. Sorry about ya. You had some, I did like Three Sisters and stuff, but it wasn't, the whole state doesn't make up for that. Okay, next question. The next question, do I have a best and worst moment? I would say my worst moment was probably Baden Powell. So if you want to go check out my worst day, go pull up that video from me. It was my first experience with snow, and I was kind of alone in that, and it was just a really difficult day. So if you want to go check that video out, you will see why that was my worst day. But again, just mainly snow. Best moment? Oh, there's so many good ones. I think being at the top of the passes in the high Sierras, the passes I hit by myself alone, those are pretty big highs for me, just because I was really able to be introspective. I was alone. I conquered things that I didn't think I could, let alone by myself. So yeah, if you go through the Sierra, everyone says the Sierras for a lot of things, but it's just so magical. So best moments, a lot of those were in the Sierras. What fears did I have starting out that I no longer have? A lot of them. So I think the biggest accomplishment or like biggest fear I conquered was my fear of heights. The first like few weeks, you know, I'm just getting used to walking on the ledges, so you're constantly like kind of on a ledge. And for me, I'm just like, whoa, like, is this going to be the whole time? And how am I going to get used to this? It always made my feet tingle and stuff like that, but you get used to it really fast. I honestly, by the end of trail, didn't even notice when I was walking on steep ledges. It just became second nature. So I wouldn't say I'm comfortable like standing on a cliff and just staring over or anything. I'm not like a daredevil with heights by any means, but definitely I'm comfortable now like walking on ridges and stuff like that. It does not freak me out at all anymore like it used to. So that's cool. I've gotten better about being scared camping alone. I get this question a lot. I would say I never feel like I'm just completely 100% great with sleeping alone in the woods, but I can do it now, and I can do it without like staying up all night. So it's just kind of mind over matter, rationalizing in your head like, hey, you know, most animals are not out to get me. If anything, they're curious or they're more scared of me, and just kind of like talking yourself through those things instead of letting them like absorb your mind where you can't sleep. So I've gotten better about sleeping alone in the woods as well. What do you think changed the most for you from day 1 to day 203? That's a good question. I would say my confidence, 100% my confidence, which probably is a pretty straightforward answer. Yeah, you just don't know what you're doing at the beginning of trail, and by the end of the trail, you just still don't know what you're doing, but you're okay with it. No, seriously, like, I don't know. People always called me a veteran at the end, and I was like, I don't feel like a veteran. I feel like I, like, pack my pack differently almost every day still. But honestly, the progression happens so slowly that, like, you don't even realize you're better than day 1. So, I slowly built confidence without realizing it was really cool. Your body obviously changes big time from day 1. So, yeah, what changed the most? Again, my confidence, 100%. By the end of it, I just kind of was like feeling like it was just second nature to, you know, get up and hike mountains every day. It's just day in the life of a thru hiker, I guess. All right, the next one, do I have any regrets or anything I would do differently now that I have hindsight of 2020? Gosh, I don't really, you know, it's really easy to be like, I obviously regret that, not regret, but I mean, I didn't get to hit the border, and it's easy to be like, oh, I shouldn't have spent that extra day in town or whatever, but I don't really regret anything. And I'm sure every hiker says they don't regret anything, but truly, I think we all say that because your experience is so unique and it's just your own. So like you don't want to change anything because you love it, and I truly wouldn't change anything. I felt like I had a really good experience. It all worked out the way it was supposed to. No, I didn't get to hit the border, but honestly, like, I hiked 2,500 miles, and like that's enough for me. No regrets. Anything I would do different? No. I thought I was going to regret my start date, but I didn't at all. Like, I loved my start date. Like, March is the new April start date, so FYI, if you want to be trendy, start in March. How did I handle blisters? I didn't really get any blisters. So my secret sauce is Injinji liners and darn tough socks over the Injinji liners, and really your shoes. I mean, I wore Hokas before trail, so I kept with that for on trail. Like, I was training for half marathon in Hokas, and so my feet were very used to them, and I think that helped. And then I really kept good care of my socks. Like, I didn't even do the thing, like some hikers will say, like, oh, take your socks off at lunch, dry your feet out. I didn't do any of that, right? I'm too lazy. But I think just having consistent footwear, I didn't change up any of my foot stuff during trail. I don't know if I just got lucky or what. My feet didn't even grow or anything. Like, I wear the same size I did before. So yeah, people will say to buy like all your shoes in advance, but I definitely would not, because they also tell you your foot's going to grow, and mine didn't grow at all or expand. So I really don't know, you guys. I think feet are very unique to you, and you shouldn't jump the gun just based off what you read. I would just kind of feel out your situation on trail, because it's not like you're not in town every few days. You do have phone access like every few days, so you can easily order your shoes online like I did, just like the next town you get in. So yeah, don't jump the gun on shoes. Maybe people got blisters because they did. I don't know. I didn't get any blisters. So the few hot spots, like I did. There was one time I kind of started getting blisters, and it was when my toe socks started ripping. So, I mean, again, just keep up to date on your socks. If you start noticing a hole, don't wait till it becomes basically like your toe socks don't have toes. Make sure all your gear is in order, because, you know, your wellness definitely depends on your gear. All right, let's jump into the resupply section of questions. How many resupply boxes? Can you do the PCT without them? I didn't do any resupply boxes. I didn't even look at like where I needed resupply boxes. You guys, don't overplan your hike. That's my biggest like pet peeve. Not pet peeve. That's a wrong way to say it. I would just say I found on trail that the people that were sending themselves boxes were having way more problems than the people like me who were just like showing up to town and resupplying. There was not a single place on trail I couldn't resupply. Even the ones that like quote unquote people were saying that you couldn't resupply there, I walked in and I was like, I definitely could resupply here. So, I mean, it depends, I guess, on how picky you are. I'm not a picky eater. I'll literally like peanut butter and tortillas for the whole time if I have to, but your taste changes on trail, what you crave changes, you burn out on things. So like if you're sending yourself boxes, I can't guarantee you. I bet that you get your box and you open it and you're like, I don't even want what's in here. So again, everyone's different. I saw people that did eat the same thing that they had sent themselves the whole trail, but I don't know if they loved it or if they were just like, you know, having to deal with what they had already planned. So the other thing I saw were people that had sent all these boxes and didn't finish trail, and then literally just were donating their boxes to other hikers, which is cool because I got some of those. But also probably sucked for them because that food is expensive and all the preparation they did is kind of like, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen in life when you're on trail. So you may not be able to finish trail like you thought. So I recommend no resupply boxes. You can resupply in towns. I did have some people from home send me boxes because I'm loved and everyone's so good to me, for real. And that was great, but also completely unnecessary if you don't want to do that either. You could resupply in towns. My favorite meal, I don't know if I had my favorite Mountain House meal was spaghetti. Like, you just can't mess it up, and plus it was just happened to be really good. I also really liked the yellow curry from the Mountain Houses. My favorite, like, non-expensive meal was, like, peanut butter and Nutella on tortillas. Oh, I love that. It was so good. It's still good. I just can't eat it because it's so high calorie. But definitely hook yourself up with some PB and Nutella tortillas. Super high calorie. It is heavy, but at the same time, like, it's literally, like, 800 to 1,000 calories, like, each one. The way I made them, it was, like, definitely a lot of calories. Food that I got sick of pretty quick. I don't know if you guys remember from my videos, but I burnt myself out on Spam pretty bad because it was the only thing I could eat for a while. I actually really liked it up until the point where it started getting hot on trail. When it started getting hot, like, the Spam would, like, sweat, and it kind of freaked me out at a point, even though I'm really not that, like, not bougie, but I'm not that picky. But yeah, I got to a point where I think I was eating it so much, and then on top of that, like, all the weird sweat that started on there, I was like, oh, okay, I'm done with Spam for now, unless I fry it. I don't know. I might eat some now. Okay, next section, gear. So, gear. Did I end up sending much home? No, because I'm a psycho, and before trail, I literally was, like, on top of it. Like, I didn't have the lightest pack, but I also didn't overpack gear. I would just say I had some, like, heavier items that people probably didn't have. Like, I would say, like, my tent was a little bit heavier with the, you know, the Big Agnes. It's heavier than a Z-Pack at first. I had that. My sleeping pad also ended up being a Big Agnes, which is a little bit heavier. But I didn't bring extra stuff. Like, I didn't have, like, a chair or something weird. Calling six-pack out. Yeah, I didn't have, like, a chair or anything like that. So I didn't send any gear home that was, like, unnecessary. I think the only thing I remember sending home at the beginning was, like, a food cozy, which is, like, this thing that goes, like, can hold your food and make it hot. I was like, I really did not need that. Other than that, I kept everything I had. I interchanged my winter gear when I didn't need it, but no, I didn't have any really extra gear. The next question is, do I have any gear failures? If you followed my videos, you absolutely know I had gear failures. Some just like by chance and some because my friend's cat. But my biggest complaint was my Big Agnes tent. I have had requests to go through my gear, and I will do like an end gear review as well, just to kind of like give you guys an idea of what I started with, what I ended with. But gear failures, okay, I'm gonna call out Big Agnes. I wasn't going to, but they really kind of crapped the bed with their customer service with me. So I bought the Copper Spur UL1 tent right before trail. I had used it one time before trail, and on day 40 the hub piece on the tent poles broke. So not the poles themselves, but like the middle hub that where the poles connect snapped. And for one, I was mad because the hub is going to be obviously the piece that bears all the weight. And hello, engineering, I would think that that would be a very heavy duty piece. And I wasn't the only, there were several hikers on trail where the hub piece broke. And I emailed and I had to send it back, and I had to my dad, and I sent my Z-Pack out while I was trying to figure out how to fix the Big Agnes. But anyways, I contacted Big Agnes and didn't hear back from them for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. So, and then when I got them on the phone finally, I was already in Tahoe at this point. And I was just like, hey man, like I really need my tent. Tired of, I like my Z-Pack, but I like the Big Agnes too. And I'm just mad that I bought it and it doesn't work. And they were extremely nice, but like super unhelpful. It's like someone smiling and being like, oh, we really, really want to help you out, but we can't. So customer service for Big Agnes is like a bunch of kind of like, it's like has no substance. Like they're very nice, but like they're not helpful at all. And then they like then they fixed the problem by sending me the hub piece. Well, by this time I had already ditched the poles because it was literally 6 weeks later. I couldn't keep carrying them. And on top of that, I don't even know how to restring a whole pole set. And to be honest, maybe I could have Googled it, but I'm on trail. Like, I didn't want to do that. Just send me a new pole set. Like, I have like 4 Big Agnes products. Like, you can't spare a pole set for someone who's obviously going to probably be a return customer. Anyways, I didn't even fight with them because I really get sick of that kind of stuff. So I just was like, you know what? So I told them, I was like, I don't have the pole set anymore. So they're like, well, we don't normally sell pole sets, but we'll sell you a pole set for, it was like $90. And I was like, that's insane. So I spent way too much on that tent. But anyways, Big Agnes tent failed me. I do like the design, but then again, it's not very sturdy. I would not do the Big Agnes tent again. It also does not have a waterproof flooring. Even if you buy the, what's it called? The ground sheet that goes with it, not waterproof either, you guys. Don't rely on that tent if you're going to be in rain. And there's no way anyone can argue with me on this one because obviously from first-hand experience, I had a lot of issues with that tent. My Z-Pack was great. The only reason the Z-Pack is very simple. It's kind of like a tarp tent. So it's just very not luxurious. But man, it got the job done. No rips, no problems. I had bought it off this guy on Facebook randomly, and it was in great condition. One of the zippers did stop working, but the other one worked, so it wasn't really a problem. I've heard the zippers break, but honestly, at the end of the day, think about this. My zipper broke, but it still worked. And even if it didn't work, I'd still rather have a Z-Pack that's still working than the Big Agnes that me and other people, when it broke, you really can't even use it. Like, it's done. Plus, it's not waterproof. How in the world is it a 4-season tent, but it's not waterproof? It does dry fast, but it's not worth it. Anyways, so yeah, gear failures, Big Agnes tent, you let me down. Now, Thermarest sleep pad, I hated it. Don't get it. The yellow ones that everybody gets for like $200, don't get that. I got the Big Agnes Ultra Core. It is a little heavier, but it literally never even leaked. I had that when I switched that out at Caney Meadows South. So mile 700, I switched to the Big Agnes one because my Thermarest had popped, which everyone's Thermarest popped, okay? Like, that was like, it's a matter of when, not if. So, the Big Agnes one, to this day, still works. Not even a slow leak, nothing. It was great. It is heavier, but man, I would carry it so that a few more ounces, knowing that you have a pad that's not going to pop on you, pretty good stuff. But Big Agnes, watch your back. Just kidding. Kind of. How many pairs of shoes? I believe I used 6. So Hoka's are I would recommend if you use Hoka's, which they seem to be a pretty popular shoe on trail this year. They have to be changed out at least every 400 miles. Honestly, that's stretching it. So yeah, I went through 6 pairs of shoes, which is really expensive, but it was worth it. I had Hoka Speed Goat 5s. Last gear question. Based on what you now know, what piece of gear do you wish you would have brought with you? No, nothing. I think I had everything I needed. You know, I actually have to add that I wouldn't get the Z-Pack trekking poles. Those broke on me at Baden Powell, and they're really those lightweight carbon fiber ones. I wish I would have just started with the black diamond ones I had. They're black diamond aluminums. They're heavier, but they're not that heavy. And honestly, you don't even notice the weight of your trekking poles anyways. You use them so much. And yeah, people are like, well, you know, the Z-Pack ones won't break if you don't like put all your weight on them. And it's like, okay, but there are times where you trip or something, or you slide down an ice patch and you have to use your poles. And you're gonna put all your weight on them because that's your natural reaction. You're not like, oh, well, I'll fall a little bit lightly on my pole. No, those bad boys are there to catch you when you need them. So you're gonna inevitably probably break the carbon fiber ones, and if you don't, good for you. But if you're like me and you're not necessarily some agile person, I would invest in a little more heavy duty trekking poles. They're worth a little bit of extra weight. All right, this next section of questions I'm labeling as trail life because it's kind of stuff while I was on trail. Any close encounters with wildlife that caught you off guard? Yeah, there were several things, so nothing scary though. I would say wildlife was super minimal. It was kind of almost eerie that there wasn't more encounters, but the PCT is heavily trafficked, especially Nobo, so I think it's more like they know the trail's there and they stay away from you. Anyways, I saw one in Desolation Wilderness area, which is kind of near Tahoe. Everyone sees their bear, I feel like, and that's where I saw a baby bear. I was super excited. I carried bear spray the whole trail. It just made me feel better. And anyways, I just didn't get it out. I got my phone out and I was like, oh, it's a baby bear, and it's in one of my videos. But my friend was like, kangaroo. She was like, well, the mom's gonna be somewhere close by. I was like, you're right. That's the only bear I saw. There was a video where I talk about how I think I saw a mountain lion outside my tent. People argued with me about it. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I saw a mountain lion outside my tent, maybe I didn't. Overall, I didn't directly see a mountain lion, and I never had the feeling of I'm getting stalked by a mountain lion like some people do. And then the only other animal encounter I had one time is I was camping by myself. There were people kind of close by, but not right by me. I was laying down. I always sleep with my food under my head in my pack. I was on my phone, and I literally could see and feel something nudging into my tent where my head was. And I don't know what it was, but I yelled, get out of here. And then it freaked out, and it ran, and when it ran, it tripped over the guy line from my Z-Pack tent and pulled my stake out of the ground. So I don't know what kind of animal it was, but there's definitely some kind of animal checking out I think it was smelling my food. Other than that, a lot of deer. Deer are kind of a nuisance. Before trail, sorry, I'm burped now. I'm feral. I don't know. Before trail, I've been like, oh, it's a cute deer. Look at that deer. And now after trail, I'm like, freaking deer, man. They keep me up all night. If you pee, they come eat your pee because they like the salt. And it's just all night, they're just scratching it up the ground. Deer are a nuisance on trail. I'm glad they exist, and I'm happy that they're so, there's so many of them out there. But yeah, not my favorite animal by any means. But yeah, overall wildlife, not a ton of scary wildlife out there. Now, the next question is about people. Any creeps on trail? I describe trail as being kind of like any other thing in life, any other social group in life. There are always bad apples, no matter what you do. So yeah, there are some weird people on trail. It's the same in life as it is on trail. You just be smart about who you talk to. You don't, if you're a solo female and a dude comes up to you and he's making conversations and it's where are you camping tonight? It's, you just use common sense. Even if they seem normal, you just probably shouldn't tell them exactly the mile point you're camping at because you just don't know. And like I said, I carried bear spray. It was mostly for people, truly. Yeah, I mean, just do what you would do in normal life. Play it smart. There's not a ton of creepy people on trail, but there are one or two or more. I don't know. Just one or two that I encountered. The next question is hiking solo versus hiking together. So I think this is unique to each person. My answer is not going to be the same as others. I personally am not a tramley type person, which is funny because going into trail, I was like, I'm going to like have a tramley, blah, blah. But then I got on trail, I was like, kind of in a tramley at first. And I was like, ooh, this is just too many people because I only like hiking with one other person. That is enough for me. Sometimes two more, like a group of 3 is okay. But really, all the decisions you're making, like where you're going to camp that night, how long you're going to spend in town, where you're going to resupply, all that stuff is like a lot easier to do when there's only one other opinion involved versus like 10. Like I met tramways that had like 10 to 15 people, and I don't even know how they found campsites because it's very hard to find that many spots, and it's hard to get an 11-way consensus on what you guys are going to do that day. So I just thought for me, I just liked solo or one person. That way I kind of truly got to do what I wanted to do, wasn't influenced by others' decisions, and truly just got to do my own thing. I'm very much my own thing type of person. So, but yeah, some other people seem like they really had fun with the tramley, and I get that too. So kind of just depends on your own vibe. The next question is, do I have any new friends for life? Absolutely, you guys. You know, I can't even describe how cool it is, the people and relationships you make on trail. Trail really strips you of the normal drawbacks in society of like cell phones where you're not totally present when someone's like talking to you for the first time, and it kind of, and your emotions are already out there and raw because you're going through stuff together. Even if you don't know somebody and they just walk past and you see them at a water source, they're more likely to just tell you how their entire day went because you're all out there not suffering, but in some days you're suffering together. So the friends I made for life for sure. There's a bunch of them, and they're really special to me, and it's a different kind of bond than you get in real life, and it's amazing. I don't want to cry, so gonna just say yes, friends for life, and you guys know who you are. The next category of questions I'm gonna call post-trail life. When am I back at work? I am already back at work, okay? I started work Monday, October 17th, so I flew back into Texas, October 8th, I believe, and so had about a week and a half off at home before I started work. But I'm already back at work, but I really love my job, and I just love the people at my job, so I was excited to come back. So yeah, already back at it. Will I be vlogging weekend hikes? You know, at first I kind of was thinking no, but there's been a lot of people asking me to, and I honestly hike all the time. I already did a 3-day backpacking trip in Arkansas right when I got back, but before I started work again. And I didn't vlog it, but I already wish I would have. So I will start trying to vlog my spots around here. It's limited hiking where I'm at, but there are some cool things that I could record. So I'll try and do that for you guys. The next question, do you feel broken down or really worn out? And will it take a lot of time to recover? You know, I started running immediately after I got off trail. Like I literally second day off trail, I was trying to run. I ran like 5 or 6 miles, and because I wanted to see how it felt. And the truth of it is yeah, you gain all these muscles and endurance on trail, but it's also not the same as other activities. Like running uses different muscles than hiking does, and I could feel my knees were really hurting when I was trying to run. And I really will say that I think your injuries kind of set in after you rest a little bit from trail. So I didn't feel any injuries at the end of trail or anything hardly. And then a week later, things start popping up. So I think your body learns how to adapt and kind of suppress your injuries, because it's like your body is like, okay, I know we're still hiking, so you can't be hurt right now. But yeah, I would say my body does need some time to recover. It's kind of already, I'm kind of good now, but the first couple weeks off trail, I could feel some injuries kind of coming up. And I don't feel really worn out from trail. I would say I feel more worn out from society right now, and it's not a bad thing. It's just more like you go from being in the quiet and peaceful nature, and, really it's like a solitude environment, to town, and it's all the time people, cars, and it's just kind of an overstimulation, and always having access to phones and stuff now and TV. It's just it kind of is actually pretty draining. And I found that at work and stuff, I'm like pretty tired and I'm not working that hard yet because I just started. So yeah, trail's not wearing me out, but just being back in real life kind of is. But again, I think our bodies just adjust to the environment we're in, so I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll be fine, right? The next question is, what was the reality of normal life like to you? Do I have any post-trail blues, and how do I overcome it? Yeah. It's so funny because I was the kind of person that if you would have asked me, like a month before trail ended, or even like 3 weeks before trail ended, I was like, get me out of here. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready for my life at home, my friends, my family. Oh, post-trail depression, that won't happen to me. I love my life at home, blah, blah, blah. And my friends were all like, okay, whatever, April. Like, we know you're going to be sad. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be sad. Then like the last week and a half to 2 weeks of trail, I started kind of hitting me. I was like, oh, like, I'm not gonna wake up to just like drinking coffee and looking at these beautiful views every day. I'm not gonna have like the peacefulness I get out in nature. And then you get off trail and you're like, was that it? Is it done? Am I never gonna get to experience that again? Did I just like discover an alternative lifestyle that like I can never get back to? It's pretty hard. I mean, I work a desk job too, so there was a moment like my second day at work, I was just sitting at my desk and I just like looked at my computer and I was like, holy crap, like how did I get here? Like, I was just climbing mountains like a week ago. Now I'm like staring at a computer at my desk. So it is hard, but it's also reality. And like, I think, you know, you have to, for me, I can't say for everyone, trail is not real life in the sense, like, you can't do it every day, all year long for the rest of your life. And people may argue that, whatever, but for me, I can't. So, real life is here and now, and I just need to adjust back to it. And I have a great life, I have great friends, great family, great job. You know, I have lots of activities I like to do. I basically throw myself in everything, like, now that I've been home, and always have been that way. Like, I have a road bike you can see, I hike all the time, I take my dog out, I play soccer, like, I'm already doing a bunch of things. So just keeping active for me is very important, and keeping busy, because trail blues are very real. I'm not Superwoman, I'm not above them like I thought I was, and I think just keeping in mind that the trails will always be there, and, you know, I can get out in nature when I need to, and you know, life has different aspects to it to enjoy. It's not all just trail, but and just being grateful. I'm so grateful for the experience. Even though we all joke around, us thru hikers joke around and say, you know, like, oh, the thru hiking ruined my life, because once you do it, you know it's there and you always will think about it. But at the same time, it didn't really ruin our life, man. It made it. It's just like the best thing I ever did. And the final question that I saved for last, because I know you guys are all wondering, and I get this question a lot. Knowing what I know now, would I do the AT, CDT, or do a Triple Crown? When would I do it? What's next for me? Right now, I'm trying to enjoy life and reacclimate and really appreciate my day-to-day stuff and not focus so much on these huge goals. Thru hiking is a huge undertaking. It's not just a physical undertaking, just the time you take out of your life is very difficult, away from friends, family, your job. Just, I mean, everything is on hold while you hike. So it's very difficult to fit in. Will I be hiking another trail? I would be lying if I said I wasn't going to. I can feel it. I know I want to hike another one. I don't know when. It's not going to be like next year, I'll tell you that. So, do I foresee myself hiking in a few years again? Probably. I would say that I probably would do the CDT next. The AT is what I thought I would want to do, but then I was like wet for a few days in Washington, and I was like, no, I don't think I would want to do this for like very long. So I think the only way I would do the AT is if I did finish the CDT, and I was like, oh, well, I only have the AT left. So yeah, I think the CDT would be next for me, although I have some friends wanting to hike the Great Divide Trail, which is a little more attainable. I don't know, actually it's really hard, but I just mean it's shorter. So CDT is on my radar. I don't know when, you know, but I have my whole life ahead of me, so sometime. Triple Crown, I could see it for myself over my lifetime. I'm not someone that's like trying to Triple Crown immediately. I view through hiking as kind of like something that's always there, which may be not true, but I think I have to view it that way so that I don't like constantly worry about getting them done. But yeah, I already missed through hiking. It's a special thing, and there's lots of hikes out there though. I don't know if my next big thing is actually a through hike. I just know that I will through hike again in my future. So keep that in mind. I'm going to keep my channel going, and you know, because I plan on doing smaller hikes, maybe like the Colorado Trail, which is like, you know, just a couple 100 miles, or I don't know how many miles it is, but I just mean trails that I can fit into like having a job right now. I plan to record some other cool things that I do. So yeah, Triple Crown in my future, maybe before I die. Another through hike in the next 5 years, probably.